Okay. Good morning and welcome to the 2025 EuChemS Breakfast for Women, organized in the framework of the Global Breakfast for Women promoted in all the world by IUPAC, the International Union on Pure and Applied Chemistry. This is not the first time that EuChemS participate to this event. And actually, this event has a long story why the IUPAC decided to begin with this event that is devoted to talk about equity, possibility for women, above all for women in science. I think that it's an interesting story how this event started and how this event developed and acquired more and more relevance in time. But I think that the best word that we can say relatively to this event can be said by the organizer, by IUPAC itself. So I would like to ask Chiara, that is an active collaborator of EuChemS, to send the IUPAC video in which is introduced the Global Women Breakfast. Please, Chiara.
Welcome, everyone, to IUPAC Global Women's Breakfast, GWB 2025, where we are accelerating equity in science. You are part of a network of more than 30,000 people overcoming barriers to gender equality in science, technology, engineering, and maths. Your efforts also support the UN Sustainable Development Goals, gender equality, and reduced inequalities. If this is the first time joining the GWB, you may be wondering how this all got started. The GWB founder, Professor Mary Garson, asked, "How can we celebrate Marie Curie on the centenary of her Nobel Prize in Chemistry, the IYC, and connect groups in support of women scientists?" Her idea was simply breakfast. Having breakfast together is a great way to network. To take networking one step further, she encouraged groups to interact with each other and create a handshake that traveled around the world.
My idea was quite simple. Women know how and when to network. They go out to breakfast. And to take networking one step further, I encouraged groups to interact with each other using social media, and in this way, we created a handshake that traveled around the globe.
The first global breakfast was an amazing success, with roughly 5,000 participants at 100 events in 40 countries, a community of organizations in support of women in chemistry. In 2019, the Global Breakfast returned as part of the centenary of the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry and the International Year of the Periodic Table, with over 10,000 participants at 200 events in 50 countries. The Global Breakfast is now an event that happens on a single day each year. The first events begin in New Zealand, progressing around the globe, ending in Hawaii. The influence of the GWB has grown over the years with an increasing number of events and participating countries. In 2025, the GWB will have hosted more than 2,000 total events in 100 countries. And the GWB is an official event of the International Year of Quantum Science and Technology. Advances in quantum technology will be crucial to achieving many of the UN Sustainable Development Goals.
Okay, we are back again to our event, and I haven't introduced myself. My name is Angela Agostiano, and I am the president of EuChemS and the chair of the task group on inclusion and diversity. And so before to start our global women breakfast on the topic that we have chosen to this year, let me introduce a little bit my organization. Let me give you some information of what is EuChemS. EuChemS is a transnational organization that is aimed to speak with a unique an unbiased voice to all the civil society, the politics, and the research, because we represent more than 130,000 active chemistry from 50 organizations that are on 30, that cover 36 countries in Europe. And so the main goal of this organization is to talk about the chemistry, the role of chemistry, the power that chemistry has in solve the problem, and be a stakeholder of the Commission in Europe, just to advise of the main problems that are linked with chemistry and related discipline and activities. This is not the first time that we organized Breakfast for Women. Actually, we started in the 2021, talking about what was the problem during that time, the pandemic, the virus, and the problem arise between the women in science due to this problem. Then in the 2022, we talked about the problem of top-level position, very, very few reached by women. And then we deal that with the problem that is really impress our life, our day, that is the war. And then we decide to talk about the role, what are doing women in chemistry that work in the forefront of conflict. And finally, in 2024, we decide to talk about bias, not only external bias, but also internal bias that somehow are barriers that is need to overcome to reach the equity in our society and in our job, and of course in science. So the topic that we have chosen this year is related with the fair and equal chances in cutting-edge science and technology. So that means that we have to talk about women that try to have an impact in the society, working in fields that will be the future of the society, or also we will address the topic of unexpected professions for women in chemistry and highlight how the field of chemistry opens doors to diverse careers, also not traditionally associated with women, to underscore the relevance of women participation in this area of research. But let's give some numbers before to talk with our panelists to this topic. And this number, of course, we are scientists, and the scientists say always that the science has no gender. But the numbers always tell us a different story. This time I decided to discuss a little bit with you the data that are present in the Global Gender Gap 2024 publication made by the World Economic Forum. This organization every year use a benchmark, I would say, different data relatively to the position in the working force, economics, and also political power coming from more than 150 countries in the world to see how the gender gap, that is of course built on algorithm based on these 4 categories, changed in time and in the different countries. So if you can look at the first figure that is taken from this relevant publication, you can see the evolution of global gender gap index in time. And here are reported the best 10 countries that have tried to fill this gap. That, of course, is never 100%. And it's quite funny to see this table. And also you see some that you maybe cannot expect. Well, of course, the main impression is that Europe is better than Africa or Asia in trying to fill this gap. But if you look at the table, you see that North Europe is much better than other countries. For instance, Spain is still between the first 10 with Iceland, but some other region of the world or countries like Italy or France or United States are far away from this table. United States is the 40th place, Italy is in the 50th place, and we can follow also in time that people from the South America, Latin America, and some part of Africa is improving better of what maybe more industrialized countries are doing. And this is a piece of information. Another piece of information that is quite relevant also, you see the labor force and how the labor force is related to the gender gap, of course. So the difference between women and men is changed starting from the 2006, arriving to the 2024. And we can see that there is a nice improving in the first 10 years of the 20, and then this gap is decreasing, and the number of women that work is the decreasing time, and the lower happen in the time of pandemic emergency. That means that the women are the one that had the worst impact with the pandemic. And then we start again to improve, but never arrived to the years between 2020 and 2024. That means that we are not going so well in our day. So if we can have the next slides, please, Chiara. Okay, this is another piece of information because we see the representation of women in the workforce in the scientific area and compared with the workforce of women in non-scientific area. And you can see that there is a big divide because in 2024, for instance, the women are only the 27% almost, and the women working in non-STEM area are the 47%, then almost half of the workforce. And another relevant data is that we are talking about the cutting-edge science and technology. No, we know that this needs skills to improve our skills, and how young generation above all are perceiving that they need skills in the STEM materials, but also in computing, also in artificial intelligence, and they need to improve what already said in their education to adapt, to reach the top level in their job. And you can see that again, the women that adopted in the field related with science, new skills, advanced skills are only the 27%. Then still we are very few in a field that will impact a lot in the future, and in the future of the world, in the future of new generation. If I can have the next slide, please. So this is the last one I would like to give as an input for you, and it's related to how women perceive the importance of acquiring new skills in the cutting edge technology, and see that if we ask women how important in your career in the next 5 years will be the acquiring these new skills, you can see that the women feel that will be very important, the flexibility, but already when we talk about data, green, digital, the women that are aware of the relevance of acquiring this new information are less than men. So it seems that in the young generation, the men are more aware of the fact that they have to acquire new skills to do not be always at the bottom of the chain, of the labor chain, but to reach the top in this in a field that will be more and more relevant in the future. And also, if you ask, how confident are you that your employer will provide you with tools and opportunities to learn the following skills, then again you see that the women are a lot less confident and agree than men. So this is a situation in which we clearly see that not only there are barriers that are political barriers, economical barriers, but general barriers that we have to overcome, but there is also some internal bias. We auto-convince ourselves that in our future, the relevance of technological and technology and science and new insight in science are less relevant compared to men. So I think that this data can give you some input to our discussion. So now it's time to introduce our 4 panelists and the chair of the discussion that will happen to give answer to the questions. So first of all, I will ask everybody to present yourself, to tell the audience who you are and what you do, starting from Noah, please.
Yeah, thank you, Angela, for sharing this highly interesting data. It was a great introduction. I'll keep it short and sweet to leave all the time to our brilliant speakers today. My name is Noah Al-Shamery. I'm the communication team lead and a board member of the European Young Chemists Network, as well as current chair of the Young Physical Chemists of the German Bundessociety for Physical Chemistry. I've previously moderated sessions at EuChemS events like the EuChemS Chemistry Congress, and I'm incredibly honored to be moderating a part of such an inspiring initiative, celebrating the achievements and contributions of women in science. So I'll be leading the interview section later today during today's fantastic event, and I will now hand the mic to our first speaker, Iwona, to introduce herself.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Iwona Gulaczyk. I am Polish. I work at the Faculty of Chemistry of Adam Mickiewicz University in Poznań. I'm a theoretical chemist and spectroscopist. So my main research focuses on infrared high-resolution spectroscopy of molecules of astrophysical importance. Apart from my scientific role, I'm also an academic teacher, so I conduct courses for the students of the first circle and the second master students, and I have been for nearly 10 years coordinator of Erasmus Plus program. So I've been involved in international exchange of students and also university workers. And I'm married and I'm a mother of 3 daughters. Thank you.
And I would ask Giulia to introduce yourself. Open your microphone, please, Giulia.
Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Please introduce yourself.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Noah. It is a great honor to be here today to discuss such an important topic. And I want to express my gratitude to EuChemS for organizing this inspiring event. My name is Giulia Napoli, and I am the head of the Forensic Chemistry Division within the Italian Forensic Science Police Service. My scientific journey began at the University of Palermo in Sicily, where I earned a degree in chemistry. I participated in the first public competition for technical directors in chemistry within the Italian State Police. And this marked the beginning of my career in forensic science. Palermo was my first assignment, where I gained hands-on experience in developing and improving forensic analysis methodologies and technologies, providing expert technical support during criminal investigations, and applying advanced scientific methods in the pursuit of justice. As a director of the Forensic Chemistry Laboratory, I had also the privilege of speaking at scientific conferences, contributing to the exchange of knowledge and best practices in forensic science. And I have been actively involved in training programs for personnel across all branches of Italy's law enforcement agencies. 2 years ago, I was promoted to senior technical director, and this position has given me the opportunity to expand my expertise, direct complex forensic investigations at the national level, and contribute to international collaborations. Outside of my professional career, I am also a mother of 3 daughters, an experience as rewarding as my work. I have had the joy of watching them grow and achieve their goals. 2 of them are now doctors, while the youngest is in her final year of high school, preparing for a future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Giulia. Now it's time for Sílvia to present herself and what is she doing.
Hello, good morning to everyone. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be part of this very interesting discussion. Yes, I'm Sílvia Osuna. I'm from Spain. I'm an ICREA research professor at the Institute of Computational Chemistry and Catalysis at the University of Girona. And basically, well, in the University of Girona is where I studied my chemistry degree, but also I did my PhD. on theoretical and computational chemistry. I started studying the reactivity of fullerene and carbon-based materials. And after the thesis, in 2010, I decided to move to UCLA, to the group of Professor Ken Howe, where I started to work with enzymes and with the modeling of biological systems. And I got a Marie Curie postdoctoral fellowship. Well, since then, I have been, my main research line is enzyme design, rational enzyme design. And so my group develops new ways, new computational protocols to try to design efficient enzymes for industrial applications, but also for medical applications. Well, my group was created thanks to the ERC starting grant that I had in 2015. And since then I'm like leading a group of, now we are 12 researchers. I'm happy to say that 7 out of 12 are women. And I'm also a mother of 2. A son and a daughter, they are still quite small. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Sílvia. And now our last panelist, Snežana, please, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Snežana Zarić. I'm from Serbia. I'm full professor at the University of Belgrade, and I have my research group in Serbia. I spent quite some time abroad. I was postdoc at Texas A&M University in a group of Professor Michael Hall. And actually, I'm very grateful for that opportunity because that was the beginning of my serious scientific career. I also spent some time in Germany, and I was visiting professor at Texas A&M University in Qatar. I also want to mention that I have 2 children, and I think it is very important for me. And probably the best way to introduce myself in my research is to tell you that I'm working on non-covalent interactions, and that we in Belgrade practically developed original methodology how to study that. We are searching crystal structures in the Cambridge database and the protein data bank. And we also do quantum chemical calculations. By searching these crystal structures, we can get data about the geometries of the interactions. We can recognize different interactions. We also can do similar things with protein data bank. And then by quantum chemical calculations, we're actually calculating the energies of these interactions. So combining these 2 methodologies to get the data from the crystal structures and to get the energies from the quantum chemical calculations is very powerful tool. And in that way, we were able actually to recognize several new types of non-covalent interactions. And I think the most interesting and maybe the most important is that we actually recognize the 2 water molecules. In addition, that they can make a standard hydrogen bonds, as everybody knows about that. You see the 2 molecules in the hydrogen bond, and you also see the electrostatic potentials for these 2 waters in a hydrogen bond. And actually, you can see on other figure that actually you can turn these 2 water molecules in a different orientation. And you can see that still from this electrostatic potential, these interactions should be attractive. And this is what we call the anti-parallel orientation. So you practically have, as you can see up, you have 2 water molecules where OH bonds are in anti-parallel orientation. And of course, these interactions are attractive. We calculate the energy. It is a little bit weaker than the classical hydrogen bond. Classical hydrogen bond is 5 kilocalories per mole. This other one is 4.7 kilocalories per mole. And what is even more important, we found that in the crystal structures from the Cambridge data bank, when we analyzed all the crystal structures that exist in the Cambridge data bank, and you have lots of water molecules there. So we analyzed all water-water contacts in these crystal structures. And then we found that these classical hydrogen bonds are 70% of the interactions between 2 water molecules. And these anti-parallel interactions that we first described are actually 20% of all contacts between two water molecules in the crystal structures. So this is, I think, the best example illustrating what we can do with the methodology that we developed. I mean, I have a research group in Belgrade, and we are performing this kind of analysis for more than 10 years.
Okay, thank you very much. So we have seen different women that are coming from different geographical area, from the west and from the east of Europe, and also that 3 of them are working in the university, and 1 of them is working in police department. I just would like to start with her, just because we are addressing the topic of unexpected professional for women, and that can be really interesting to know something about this job, and how difficult has been to enter in this job, and how easy is doing this job in the community that I suppose is not so well women oriented. So please, Giulia, can you tell us your story?
Yes, thank you, Angela. My journey as a scientist, police officer, and a mother has given me a unique perspective on the challenges and opportunities that women face in male-dominated fields. Looking back on my 30 years in the Italian National Police, I am pleased to see how the landscape has evolved. When I joined the police, there were significantly fewer women in leadership and command positions. I found myself in a predominantly male environment, leading a team composed entirely of men. But I was able to establish a strong and trusting relationship with my collaborators. These collaborations have been essential in achieving results and maintaining excellence in our work. Today, we see many more women occupying these roles, proving that change is possible when opportunities are made available. A prime example is the Italian Forensic Science Police Service, where the current director is a woman, and 3 of the 5 divisions within the service are led by women. Our work involves analyzing a wide range of materials, from narcotics and flammable substances to fibers, paints, glass, and explosives. But we are also involved in crime scene investigations and technical training, collaborating closely with other scientists to solve criminal cases. Over the years, several high-profile criminal cases of national significance have been solved thanks to the crucial contributions of chemistry, which has played a fundamental role in uncovering the truth, from identifying perpetrators through fingerprint analysis on seized evidence to conducting and writing examinations in forensic document analysis. Today, in addition to providing a technical analysis for the judiciary, our division has become a reference point for university students and researchers, supporting graduate and PhD students to develop their thesis using our sophisticated equipment. These collaborations allow students to gain hands-on experience in forensic chemistry, contributing to their academic growth while fostering innovation and knowledge exchange. Recently, the Drug Investigation Section of the Forensic Science Police Service joined an international project about artificial intelligence in fighting illicit drug production and trafficking. This initiative leverages AI-based tools to monitor online illicit drug markets and combat organized crime networks involved in drug trafficking. Our section will provide analytical laboratory data to this platform, which uses artificial intelligence also to gather critical information on physical drug dealing hotspots through social media analysis. Today, artificial intelligence is revolutionizing forensic chemistry, offering new possibilities for police investigations by automating data processing, reducing human error, uncovering hidden connections in forensic evidence. AI-powered algorithms could analyze complex chemical compositions with unprecedented speed and precision, aiding in the identification of drugs, explosives, and other substances found at crime scenes. Moreover, it could process vast data sets from spectroscopy, chromatography, and mass spectrometry techniques to recognize patterns, link samples to potential sources, and even predict unknown compounds based on their chemical structures. Additionally, machine learning models could enhance forensic document examination by improving handwriting and ink analysis, identifying subtle chemical differences in writing materials. So by integrating AI into forensic investigations, we can develop innovative solutions to tackle emerging threats more proficiently. I think my minutes have lasted. Okay, now it's enough. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the description of your job, and also to focus on the idea that you entered in a man domain, but you received collaboration. So we will continue to talk maybe in the Q&A part, but now I would like to ask Iwona, that she works in the university and she had her career in a field that is mainly occupied by men researchers. Then tell us something about you and your career.
Thank you, Angela. Indeed, quantum chemistry group in which I work in and I have worked for many years was and is still dominated by men. And I think it's because physical chemistry in general is quite difficult and not perhaps students seem to treat physical chemistry as a bit less interesting than other fields of chemistry, and I think this is the main reason. From practical point of view, I have to say that working as a theoretical chemist, it is and being a woman and being a mother, it's a bit easier to reach to develop a scientific career, because as theoretician, I don't need laboratory work. The only tool I need is just a computer or supercomputers, and I can work from home at home. So it's yeah, this is the practical point of view, which in my opinion is it is from this point of view, it is easier to be a scientist as a woman, and I always wanted to be a chemist. I cannot say that I always wanted to be a scientist. I started thinking of scientific career when I was during my chemistry studies. But it was, of course, I was not determined then, and in the fourth year of my studies, I went to the UK for 1 year. I studied there 1 year at Reading University in the United Kingdom. It was one of the first international exchange programs. It was a Tempus program. And then I met some scientists, mainly spectroscopies, UV spectroscopies, infrared spectroscopies. And then my desire to become a scientist was bigger, stronger. And when I came back to Poznań to finish off my master thesis, then I was I decided to get involved in science. So then my career was it was a classical one. So I did PhD studies. After PhD studies, there was no position, unfortunately. I mean postdoc position. So I had to work as a lecturer for 2 years. Then after these 2 years, I got a postdoc position at our university here in Poznań, and I started working very hard. But of course, I also already during my PhD studies, I had my 2 daughters. So it wasn't that easy to develop the scientific career, because I had to combine my family life with my job, my scientific work. So yeah, I had to slow down a little bit. Then when after a few years, I had my youngest daughter. So again, I had to slow down a little bit. So that's why my career was not that quick, I would say, because yeah, it was not for me. It was the most difficult thing to combine, to be a mother, to be a good mother, to be yes, and to run a scientific career. So yeah, but finally I did my habilitation 3 years ago, and now I work as an associate professor at the Faculty of Chemistry. I am very happy and satisfied that I could achieve what I always wanted to, apart from not apart, but simultaneously running family life and yes, and I hope being quite a good mother. So and as for my research career, my field, as I said, it's high resolution spectroscopy of molecules of astrophysical importance. These molecules perform so-called large amplitude motions, like torsional rotation and inversion. So they need a special treatment. They need special models, theoretical models. So what I do, I develop these models. I also develop tools to analyze spectra of these molecules, since spectroscopy of these molecules is really important for studying their presence in atmosphere, their reactions, their structural properties, etc. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Iwona, for sharing with us how your children impact somehow, but how finally you reached to do in doing what you wanted always to do. Now I would invite Sílvia. Sílvia is the youngest, I think, between us, and she combines two different percentage in the sense that she works in a field that is related with biological side, that is one of the best field for women in their perception and in their presence. In the same time, she is also an inventor, or is trying to be an inventor, working with industry that is the lower part of the work of women. Only 10% of women are trying to deal with patent and relationship with the industry. So please share your experience with us.
Yeah, thank you, Angela. Yeah, so at the end, so I was listening to Iwona, and yeah, so really the careers all are like very similar, and I share many of the things that she was explaining. So I also did the PhD on, as I said, on computational and theoretical chemistry. This was like 20 years ago, and at that time I was really impressed because there were not that many women, and true, still I don't think there are that many now in that area of chemistry. And I really remember attending conferences, and I was very shocked because there were very few women, not only attending, obviously, but also very few women giving talks, as invited speakers. And the very few that were there, like, giving lectures and doing great science, well, these women really inspire me, and it was like, okay, so this is what I want. So I want to, but at the same time, the feeling that I had by then is that, okay, all these women look like very strong, strict, with a lot of character, and I felt like they are like wearing or putting a shield on themselves to try to survive in this very male or highly masculine area of chemistry. And I remember asking myself, why? Why is that? So why not trying to survive in that area of chemistry, but not with this shield, without pretending to be like strong or very strict and competitive, but rather like enjoying the science, leading a group, and with empathy, fostering collaboration rather than competition, valuing people, trusting people, and also I also wanted to have a family and enjoy my kids and take some months for the maternity leave and enjoy them while they are so small and so dependent. But at the same time, I didn't want to, renounce my career, and I wanted to prove that, okay, to myself, that this is possible, and not only to myself, also to the female and researchers that I have in the group, and well, now thinking about these years, well, I tried, but in many points, I think I kind of failed. And I'm sure many of the problems that I have had along these years, and especially this last year for me, have been very difficult because, as I said, so I have a daughter and a son, quite young, 3 and 5 years old. Well, many things have happened to me, and thinking about it, I was like, okay, maybe if I were a man, this could never happened. And probably if I had been acting as these great women that inspire me, probably this would have been substantially reduced. But also I need to say that I completely agree with Iwona. So it's if you do like computational chemistry, it's good because, okay, so at the end you need a computer, right? So you can work from home, and this makes the logistics at home much easier. And also I need to say that I had many good men collaborators that have been very supportive, and I am really appreciate for all their support. And as Angela was saying, yes, I did the PhD in theoretical and computational chemistry, but my research now is more focused on biological systems and well, in enzyme design. And here in this field, yeah, the number of women is substantially higher, which is really great. Also, we have now these proof of concepts, and we are like participating more in these more tech transfer activities, and so we have more contact to industry and actually, yeah, we participate in conferences in which, well, academia and industry, yeah, sit together and talking to women of all these different fields. I have the feeling that it's kind of the same. Doesn't matter if it's academia or if it's industry. We all have like kind of the same problems and stories, and I think that's why I think it's great to organize such activities like the one we are now, and also in the same way as I said, no, at the start of my career, I was very impressed with all these women, like, yeah, fighting and doing great science. Now, if I attend a conference and I see, yeah, especially now these more bio-based conferences, there are many women, yeah, doing great jobs. So I really enjoy, you know, listening to them and see how they are like advancing science and with her own way and her own vision. And this for me, it's, well, I feel extremely proud of them, and also I feel like a companion, so I'm not alone on this. And well, yes, and now with as I said, no, I have a 3 and a 5-year-old son and a daughter, and one is a boy, the other is a girl. So I can see also how different they are, and I'm doing my best, the best I can, as everybody does, trying to be a good mother, and also trying to combine it with my research. And I also try to explain them what I'm doing, and that, you know, especially, I mean, to both, obviously, but also to convince my daughter that yes, so, you know, chemistry and science is also great, and that we need more girls and more women in these areas. Yeah, that's a little bit all.
Thank you very much, Sílvia, for this nice comparison between the two fields you dealt with. That is very interesting. And now I would like to ask Snežana to tell us something about her career. She works in a very competitive field, and I know that she is between the 2% more accounted women in the inorganic chemistry. So how difficult was to build your career? What kind of difficulties did you find?
Oh,
please, Snežana.
Actually,
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love my work. So from that point of view, it is not difficult, because I enjoy when I do research. But I had a little bit different story than others, because I had children when I was really young. I had the first child when I was undergraduate student. And actually, when my children were small, I could not work with the full capacity, because of course small children demand a lot of your mother, and I think it was just accidentally that I had children so early. And then later on, when my children were about 10 years old, then I could start really devoting myself to research, and that is what I'm doing since then. And actually, I think the most important for my career was that I was postdoc at really good group. I mean, I worked with Professor Michael Hall. He's excellent scientist. He's a really nice person and really supportive. So I think that probably finding some good advisor at any level, PhD level or postdoc level, is quite important for the career. So that is basically what I can say about my. I also have really nice collaboration with my colleagues, male colleagues. I also support female co-workers a lot, hoping that it can help. I'm not sure if it is really helping. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm sure that we will have the chance to talk also more regarding the collaboration, how difficult it is to build a network between scientists or between women, first of all. Now that we have listened to the different study, I will ask Noah to take the chair of this event and to manage our exchange of opinion and question between our panelists.
Yes,
Please, Noah.
gladly. Thank you, Angela. And yeah, thank you for sharing all your amazing stories. I mean, we are now supposed to go a little bit more into the personal experiences, but you already did a great start regarding this. More specifically, we now also want to once more encourage the audience to also ask questions using the Q&A function in the Zoom call. And I will be facilitating the discussion of these questions. So while the questions are rolling in, let's kickstart the discussion by one question that was already submitted, and I want to direct it to Giulia. And the question is quite interesting. So it is about how, or if you can give some tips to be assertive in your working environment without being seen as unpleasant. So the person that asked the question mentioned that they feel like that it is often easier for male colleagues to be a little bit more blunt about what they want, while women have to be more subtle. What are your experiences with this? Unmute yourself also. Brilliant.
Yes. Oh, about motherhood, you say? Can you repeat the question?
Yeah.
Can you repeat the question,
Yes,
please?
of course. No problem. It is regarding the workplace specifically, how you can be assertive with your opinions, because it can be easier for men, for some people.
Yes, for my work, you say.
Yes, yes,
As a
yes.
policewoman, as a
Exactly.
Yes, my command position is very okay. Thank you for the question. Actually, it depends on several factors, including the type, the kind of command role one aspires to, the specific police force, the individual careers path. In Italy, for example, through the technical career path, chemists can work in scientific roles within the police and focus on forensic science, specialized investigations and technical expertise. Our police, our national police, periodically holds public competitions to recruit technical commissioners in chemistry, for example. They lead forensic teams, laboratories, or expert working groups. And of course, there are opportunities for career advancement within the technical hierarchy of the Italian forensic science police. Nowadays in Italy, about 40 chemists work as scientists within the police, and I'm proud to say that 40% of them are women. And that's why I encourage women to embrace science, knowing that their work can shape the future, improve lives, and contribute to a more equitable society. Don't get discouraged and never give up. The most important thing is to believe in yourself, love your job, and always remember that where there is a will, there's a way.
Yeah, The 40% is quite a significant number, but of course it can still go a long way from here. Thank you for sharing this, Giulia. I also like how both you and also Snežana earlier on mentioned that the most important part is to be confident and love your work, basically, what you're doing. Then it will be a lot easier.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing this, Giulia. I would like to next up address another question to Sílvia, if that is all right. Thank you for sharing the very personal experience in the last section. And going off of that, I would like to ask, what advice would you give the women in the audience right now on how to balance their time between kids, research, patents, time for yourself, time for your partner?
Yeah. It's hard. It's a hard question. Thank you. Yes. I don't know. I don't have a magical recipe, but I think it's kind of connected, no, to what we were discussing. So first is that obviously we all love our jobs and we enjoy doing science, and we all love our kids, and we want to try to do your work and combine it with having. And I think for me it's very important to have so really have flexible schedule and okay, and also I love going and after school I go and I spend time with my kids, and this is great because I disconnect from from all the problems that I have and all the deadlines that I have, and so they really have the power to make you disconnect, and you enjoy, you play with them, and what I do, it's not the best, but what I do, it's I spend a lot of time with them in the afternoons, and then when they are sleeping, then I go back to what I did not finish. And obviously this is not ideal. It would be better not to just work during the hours that I'm here. But in some cases, it's not possible because you have a deadline or whatever, no? So you need to somehow try to find the time to finish what you have not finished. But I think it's very important to not remove or take this time from the time that you would spend with your family and your kids. And I need to say that it's also quite challenging. For instance, for me, traveling and going to conferences, I really enjoyed going to conferences, but my heart is kind of broken, it's like, okay, I want to go, but yes, I don't want to leave them, and all these years that while they were so way more dependent, so in many, I think in a way like hybrid conferences, that I could just attend virtually, this really helped while I was breastfeeding my daughter, and so it really makes things much easier. This was I appreciated that very much. Now this is not that often anymore, and so now again we need to travel and this, and I think for me it's hard, but at the same time I also feel okay. So I have my husband is very supportive, so he really helps me a lot, and while I'm not there, he's there with the kids, and I'm calm in the sense that I know that they are okay. It's more my feeling that I need to work out. But for me, I don't have a magical recipe. I think everyone does the best as one can, but
if there was a magical recipe already out there, it would have been shared with everyone.
Exactly,
so thank you for sharing this and also bringing up the important topic of ways to support and recognize the value of family more in the workplace. You gave the example of the conferences, for example, that one way to support this a little bit is to offer more hybrid conferences. Maybe on this topic, I want to ask Iwona another question, what your experiences were with feeling supported and recognized with having a family already also during the PhD studies, and what ways do you think there are to increase this support even further, to make it as easy as possible for families here to have the life of a researcher?
So I think one of the most important things is to give or to equip workplaces with facilities like kindergartens, not schools. Primary schools no, I don't think it would be a solution. But for example, kindergartens or nurseries. So if they are somewhere nearby your workplace, or very nearby or on the way to your workplace, that would help really a lot. So it means that you of course you have to organize everything in the morning. You have to take your kids to nursery or to kindergarten, but then you leave them and you can peacefully work for several hours, and then on the way back home you just take them from those facilities. So I think this is one of the things that would really help mothers who do their scientific work. Another thing is like Sílvia mentioned the conferences. I had exactly the same feelings always when on one side I wanted to go and I knew that this is good for me and I'm going to share my experience, my results, and so on and so on. But on the other hand, on the other side, my heart was broken because I had to leave my kids. I had to organize everything. For example, usually conferences last 1 week or 3-4 days, and most of them are international conferences. So it's really difficult to leave your kids at home, even if you know that they will be there is a care, you have somebody to take care of them. For example, in my situation, I had a lot of support from my closest family, my parents-in-law, my husband also. But I think also another solution or a good idea would be to have an opportunity to take your kids, especially when they are at the age of they are not teenagers, because when they are teenagers, I mean, then they start having their own lives, and mothers are not so important to them. But when they are very small and at the primary school, so I think it would be good to have an opportunity to take them, and of course to take also a person who would take care of your kids when you are involved and you are engaged, busy at the conference. And then after the main part of the conference, in the evening, for example, you can be with your kids. So it's also from my point of view, it would be very, very helpful for both sides. So
these are some excellent suggestions, Iwona. No, thank you for combining it also with your personal experience.
Yeah, and for example, if you go for postdoc, I think it's also, or you apply for a grant, it would be nice to have also some funds for a person who would take care of your kids, so you can take them with you. Yes, you don't have to leave them at home for a very long time.
This is a perfect point, because this is a question that we also received from the audience. It went a little bit more in the direction about what needs to change in the everyday life to promote greater equality and equal opportunities between men and women. But then how can this specifically be supported, for example, using specific funding bodies? This is a great suggestion. So I want to maybe also give this question to Giulia and Sílvia regarding these specific ways to use funding to support more equal opportunities. I see, Sílvia, you are unmuted. You have a thought right away.
Yeah, because I
Back,
completely
Snežana.
agree. I mean, I'm completely, and actually, when I ask my host institution, okay, so I need to go to this conference. I'm breastfeeding my daughter. Is it possible? Is it yeah, just pay, you know, like the travel? And they said no. I have all the ERC grants, but no, it's not. It's not. And I was like, how is that? How come? Because yeah, this means that either I don't go, or I pay it from my personal. So yeah, I mean, this is a key point. And I have, well, at the end, okay, yeah, I was paying myself. And either my husband or my mom was coming with me, and while I was at the conference, so they were taking care of the baby, and then while the baby had to eat, then I was out of the conference and breastfeeding. So yeah, why not? So
yeah, no, it's really a key action for funding bodies that we are highlighting here right now. It's quite an interesting development of the discussion. So maybe for the final part, I would just want to shift gears a little bit with one more question from the audience. I would like to address it to Snežana. I'm going to read out the question. I think it's quite interesting, and you may have something to say to this. So thank you for all the contributions. The question is, who are the direct superiors of our panelists, men or women? For example, the audience member was the first female dean of the Faculty of Chemistry of the University of Łódź in Poland since 70 years. So there are probably more women than men in the faculty, but the leadership positions were mostly held by men. Snežana, what is your experience?
Yeah, that is right. Actually, in Serbia, I think that we have more than 50% of researchers that are women. I think in some institutes, maybe even 60, 70%. However, very often at the leading positions are men. Yeah, that is generally, although in recent years you can see quite a bit of women in leading positions. However, I'm still not sure that it gives the best results, actually, that it gives the results that we would like.
Perfect. No, thank you for sharing. Just to also represent the other side of the globe, is this a experience that other panelists share regarding the leadership positions? I saw some general nodding. So it looks like it is definitely something that still requires some improvement. We actually do have time for one final question. So I would like to address this one to Giulia. And the question is also regarding a personal experience. What was the largest difficulty that you had to overcome on the way to your success? And you can unmute yourself and reply to the question.
Thank you for the question. No. Actually, I can say that as a mother of 3 daughters, I understand the complexities of balancing family life and a demanding career. It is not always easy, and for me, it has been a constant challenge, but it is possible. I had to work hard to earn the trust of my superiors, as being both a woman and a mother is often perceived as limiting one's availability. This meant making sacrifices, going to work even when my daughters were sick, and minimizing absences for family reasons as much as possible. However, with good organization and strong determination, I managed to succeed. It wasn't easy. Then, as I progressed in my career, realized that leadership in cutting-edge science requires more than just technical expertise. It demands determination, adaptability, precision, strategic thinking, and the ability to manage teams and projects, family and work. One of the most valuable lessons I've learned is the importance of taking action. In forensic science, decisions often need to be made quickly and under pressure, but always with precision, and timely and accurate decision-making can determine the outcome of a critical investigation. So over the years, I have refined by my ability to balance speed and accuracy, particularly during high-profile investigation. And as women, we have the power to drive innovation and progress in fields like chemistry and beyond. I think that our unique perspectives and different approaches are essential to solving the complex challenges of today and tomorrow. And I would like to say that I liked very much the theme of this year's event, reaching for the Quarks, beautifully captures the limitless potential of women in advanced scientific fields, because just as quarks are the fundamental building blocks of matter, women are essential to the foundation and progress of science, technology, and innovation. So I invite all of us to reflect on the importance of fair and equal opportunities in science and technology, and because together we can break down barriers, foster equity, and create a future where everyone has the opportunity to reach for the quarks.
Thank you, Giulia. This is, I think, a brilliant note to end things off on and to wrap things up nicely. It has been a very interesting discussion, also, resulting in pointing out some key actions about funding bodies, talking about key skills and challenges and how to overcome them. Thank you for sharing your inspiring stories and insights. There are many more questions we could discuss in the limited time, but it's been a pleasure hearing from such inspiring voices. And with that, I'll hand it back to Angela for the closing remarks.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. I really would like to thank you, Noah, and all our panelists, because they allow us to understand how can be easy or difficult to manage our life when we are working in a field that is very competitive field, in which we need to improve our skills. Then the only thing I would like to add to what has been already said by our panelists is that, of course, there is still there are still not equal chance for women to reach position, to arrive to the position, or to work in a high-tech or cutting-edge science. And the problems are related to several aspects. Of course, there is something that comes from inside us. We have to fight with ourselves. We are always divided between our motherhood and our needs to reach the top in our job. Of course, there are some barriers that are from the outside that is not easy to perform well when you have to choose always between different things that all are part of your life. But from this point of view, the organization can help us. For instance, also when you go to some conference, it would be nice if the organizer of the conference organize also babysitting for allow young mother to participate since the beginning to events that can improve their career. And of course, we need an education that equally prepare women and men to accept the challenge of the future. And as a mother, as a woman, we have to work with our daughters or with a network of women to let them understand that also it doesn't seem to be so quite adapt to women, but science, chemistry can open really doors to professions that will give you really success and also will let you feel more confident in yourself. Then thank you, everybody. Thank you, the organization, Chiara, Ninetta and Claudia, and thank all the people that in the audience for the question and for their patience to listen to us. And goodbye to everybody.
Goodbye and thank you.
Goodbye.